Hey there, it's Chris, and today I just want to go over some of the tips and strategies we can use to stay safe in the heat in the upcoming Spartan event in Palmerton this following week, because any race in July is going to have a certain number of risks involved with the heat that we need to go over and mitigate. And though a number of these things I may go over, you might think of, duh, this is obvious, there might be a couple things I mentioned here that could actually be really useful for you in the end as well, that you may not have thought of in the process through. So if you can grab anything from this, that's going to be super helpful, and that would be great. So we're going to divide this into two separate kind of categories here. The first is going to be things to do and or look out for during the race itself. And the second one is going to be really the areas around the event itself, which will also play a factor in basically making it through the day safely and making it back to your home safely afterwards. So first, in terms of the race itself, the obvious is going to be bring hydration with you. There are always going to be people in the starting line, I'm going to use the water on the course and that's it. Bring hydration with you. Strongly, strongly, strongly recommend. I'm going to be using 50 ounces of stuff. Again, this is the exact same I'm using for an ultra. I'm going to be using over here as well. So I'm going to have the vest, and I'm not going to be filling these with water either. I'm going to be using the water they offer on the course. I'm going to be filling these more like electrolyte type stuff and whatnot, because when you're sweating off on the course and sweating things out, you're going to be sweating out more than just water. You're going to be getting rid of the salts, and all the other stuff's going to be coming out of your system. So I'm going to use this to replenish all of that. So I'm going to have Propel's and kind of electrolyte water in my vest. I'm going to have a Powerade or Gatorade, probably Powerade, is going to be in my back flask throughout that. So I'm going to be using those throughout the day. And if history is any guide, I'm going to be going through about as much as I will on the first lap of an ultra on like the one lap we have here. And the 7 miles here, we'll go through like the 18 miles I usually do on the first lap in the ultra. I'm going to be pounding this stuff down in addition. Second thing we can do outside hydration, that's probably the obvious. The second thing you can do is really, I'm going to be wearing this during the race. Wear something light colored. Light color is going to reflect the light off of you. If you wear like a black shirt or a dark gray shirt or something like that, you're going to have a lot of issues because that's going to just absorb the heat from the sun coming down. So I'm going to be wearing something light as possible so I can reflect that stuff back out. Again, I've been doing that at work all week as well. I've been outside. This past week was in the 100-degree days. I've been outside at work. Wearing light colored stuff is a lifesaver on that. And it does make a difference. It really, really does make a difference. That said, in terms of things to look out for on that, because that's really the only material, that's really the only stuff you're going to be bringing with you on this course is going to be hydration, what you wear, that's it. But things to look out for is if you have a really humid day, it actually looks like it's going to be a really humid day. It's actually right now, looks like it's going to be mostly kind of overcast, stormy, and extremely humid throughout the day, which is a little unusual compared to the normal weather I see where it's bright and sunshine and humid. But things to look out for, especially as you start getting into the race after that first hill, going down or kind of going back up the next hill, is just kind of pay attention to how if you're sweating out there, if the sweat isn't going anywhere, because usually you sweat and it evaporates out and that's all great and good, you're cooling yourself off, the system works. If you're sweating and it's not evaporating, that stuff is still just kind of pooling on your body. That means you've now lost the ability, your body has lost its ability to really cool itself down throughout the course of the race. That's about time you realize you're going to start backing off a little bit. If you're treating this as a race, maybe you might want to think about backing off that accelerator a little bit and try to keep yourself from getting in trouble. Yes, if you're doing like a 5K, maybe a 10K, you can kind of get away with something like that where you can't physically cool yourself because the race is short enough and you can get over it fast enough to then finish the race, grab something to drink, replenish back in, you're good. Get some ice, whatever on you. But in an event like this, even if you're going down the hill and you're like on that way back up the hill and you realize you're not sweating, you may still have another like 2 or 3 hours left on this course. And your body's not going to last that long if you're already starting to show early signs. So if you see that, start backing off the accelerator. If your vision start getting like that kind of tunnel vision, get like lightheaded, get kind of dizzy, nauseous, any of those types of feelings, back the heck off of that accelerator. Those are the early signs that you're getting dehydrated. So back off, find some shade. Back off, kind of find some shade, cool down, maybe sit down for a little, get that heart rate kind of back down a little bit. Keep yourself safe. Don't become a statistic on this course of somebody who falls off and gets problems on that. Just be kind of super vigilant on how you're feeling and how your body is reacting to this kind of situation. That said, if you're in a group kind of situation on here, be mindful of those around you. You may be feeling good in your group. Somebody else may not be, but they might feel really bad about slowing down the rest of your group. Just be kind of mindful of them as well. If you see somebody else kind of lagging behind, feel free to say, I need to stop, I need to take a break. And you can kind of take a little pressure off somebody else who may not be doing as well on this. Now, I've seen on Reddit by somebody who seemed familiar with the situation. I can't confirm or deny in terms of the water stations and stuff they have on the course. It sounds like there may possibly be like an ice cream stand or something at the top. They're saying if you're not actually going for a time or whatever on this course, just kind of going to have fun, treat it as an event, maybe bring a couple extra bucks with you, kind of carry it in one of your vests or something. And if you need to, you can go and cool down that way. But I can't confirm or deny that's on there because that's not officially on their website. That's just kind of somebody who seems familiar with the course is writing that. But it's worth, maybe it doesn't cost you anything to keep an extra couple bucks on you if that is an option that comes up over there. That said, I know they've been kind of zoning out a lot of their water elements throughout a number of the other courses throughout the year. I'm going to go ahead and guess that they may not have the rolling mud or whatnot on this. As of this recording, their map on their webpage is still showing last year's map, so I have no idea what this year's is going to be. But I'm going to go ahead and guess for safety reasons, they're actually putting water elements into this. I think they're still probably going to have that kind of lake walk through there. They may stick the dunk wall on top. I'm going to guess they're still going to have ape hanger on here, because these are things that usually happen in the second half of the race to help cool you down when the temperatures reach that 80, 90, 100 degrees, whatever it's going to wind up being that day. It looks like it's going to be a little on the cooler side because of the overcast, but it's still going to be humid. Okay, so that's it for the race itself. Other things you might want to take into account on here, other than, every single water station take water as you go on there. Even if you're bringing your stuff, every single water station take water. But also, this may not apply so much if you're doing the elite or the age group type runs. We need to register really early in the morning. But if you need to register, if you're doing like an open group or something either later in the morning or in the afternoon, those lines getting into registration can be freakishly, you can be standing there for like half hour, 45 minutes, hour kind of in line waiting to register. And if you're doing that, the sun is up in the air, it's coming down. So maybe just bring an umbrella or a parasol or something just to hold up to keep you in the shade while you're waiting just to register. Because the worst thing you're going to have, all right, coming out here and doing this outside is bad because all of a sudden now all the gnats and stuff are out, sorry. Worst thing you can have is to be standing out in the sun for like 45 minutes to an hour just waiting to get registered. And then by the time you get to the starting line, you're already in heat kind of induced trouble and you haven't even started the race. So it might be worth just bringing an extra like an umbrella or something you can kind of hold over your head, keep yourself in the shade while you wait to get in. That said, although they seem not to want to push the spectator side of things, I know they've been trying not to put like the obstacles and stuff on their maps. They don't really advertise the food venues and stuff that are there, or other things spectators can do with these courses. This is one of those great spectator, super friendly courses. You can see a lot of stuff at the bottom. You can take the chairlift up the top. You can see a lot of stuff at the top. It's great. And thankfully, I do have family members who are coming to this race to watch, so I'm going to thank them right now for that. But in addition to being a cheering section going through, this is actually a safety measure I have for going home as well. If you've watched any of my other videos I put out a little while ago, you may have caught me saying a couple times that last year I had a rough time on this course. I got myself into heat-induced trouble, and though I made it through the event, between the finish line and getting the medal, that like 10-yard stretch or 10-foot stretch, whatever it is, I had collapsed on the ground in a puddle. And the heat just killed me there. And between that point, between the finish line and just getting to the car, I had collapsed an additional 3 times in addition to that one. So I had 4 times where I just poof, on the ground, I was out. And there's no real way I was in any shape to operate heavy machinery, aka a car, to go home afterwards. So yes, my family is there to kind of cheer me on, but it's also they're there to help drive through in the event something goes wrong. The idea I like kind of going on in this is even a professional golfer practices getting the ball out of a sand trap. They're professional. They should never get it in there, but every now and again, something goes wrong and they need a way to help get themselves out of trouble. So I don't anticipate trouble going on in this, but if I do find myself in like this heat-induced state, I do have them I can fall back on, and they can get me home safely if I'm not able to do this myself. That said, if you're coming solo, a lot of people are going to be coming here solo. That's 100% fine. That's kind of expected. Something I would keep in mind on that is keep maybe an ice chest in your car, stock that thing with ice. It's going to be sitting there for hours in the sun, and put some drinks in there. So after your race is done, you could have something ice cold afterwards. I don't know what they're going to be offering right after the finish line. I never feel like I know what they offer right after the finish line. I don't do these races often enough to know that anymore. But at least then you have something of your own. You can help to kind of cool yourself inside. And you can always try to find some shade somewhere, cool down, do that. At the same time, even if you're not sure if you're going to be good, maybe before the race goes off sometime during this week, maybe just go and see what some of the restaurants in the area are right around, like the immediate area around that course, like maybe within like a 15, 20-minute drive around there. And after the race is done, you can just do a short drive to one of those if you have to. And then you can sit down at one of those, cool off, have something to eat, grab something to drink. Ants, get off of me. All right, coming to the woods was a bad idea for this. All right, in that case, you can just go to like a restaurant or something. Allows you time to cool off, get some more fluid and stuff into your system, get some more fuel into your system. And then from there, you can drive back half hour, 1 hour, 2 hour, however far you need to go to get back either to your home, to your hotel, or whatever your plans are after that. Just, yeah, if you don't know if you're going to be in a good shape to travel a long distance afterwards, just give yourself a short place to go. Because on site, I'm not sure if they're going to be good places to cool down on site over there. I've never really stayed that long after a race. Usually I just kind of get through the race, done, bam, gone. So in that case, yeah, give yourself a backup plan. If you're feeling great after the race is done, that's fine. You don't need to go on to that. You can just go straight home, do anything else. But if you are feeling the kind of queasy, not really good, not really sure of yourself kind of stage, it does give you something to fall back on in case you need that, so you can at least get home safely. Because the feelings you're going to have on this, yes, you're going to feel like maybe crap during the race, especially the second half, the sun starts beating down. But you don't want that to transfer over into an event happening on a road or something going home. That would just be bad news all around for everybody. So that's kind of where that is. Otherwise, as I said, right now, as of this is being recorded, actually on the 4th of July, happy 4th, happy 250, woo! I wish I had more red, white, and blue stuff. I have blue jeans. I don't have a red hat to go with this, so it is what it is. But yeah, no, as of right now, looking forward, it looks like it's going to be more on the overcast, humid, and possibly rainy side. So in terms of that, yes, we may not have the sun beating down, but if you have that 100% humidity phase, that may still get you just as well as the other thing anyway, just as well as having like the sun beating down as well. So keep in mind, play for that. As we get closer to the race, you may want to go back and forth whether you want to like a raincoat or something in your hydration vest as well, in case you are expecting downpours. Because now that we've had this like 100+ degree heat this previous week, all of a sudden if it rains during the race and that water's going to make it feel like it's like 40 or 50 degrees outside, that's going to feel even colder than this otherwise would if they had done this like in, say, April or May, for like the Vernon something. It just, your body's now used to being hot weather right now, and it's just gonna do what it's gonna do for that. So we're gonna play this by ear based on what the weather forecast plays in, but hopefully it gives you a couple ideas to go off of. Maybe that helps, maybe it doesn't. And looking forward to a good time, looking forward to a safe race, and yeah, I can't wait to see you guys there. And until then, enjoy.